Hello. There is a strange explanation that has been circulating among people, which we heard when we were young, regarding the similarity of the Japanese. We always heard that their similarity is due to the nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The truth is, this is not correct and has no basis in reality. Perhaps what made some people say this is that they often got confused about the effects of the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima, as the nuclear bomb caused deformities in a large number of fetuses who were present at the time of the explosion. But it certainly did not change the appearance of the Japanese. The biggest proof of this is that the pictures you see now are of Japanese people decades before the Hiroshima incident, meaning that the Japanese people have always looked this way, and it has nothing to do with the nuclear bomb. Welcome to the Ask Away channel, and today we will answer the question, why do Japanese people look alike? Before we start, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell to receive our new videos. Firstly, to understand the topic calmly, let's divide it into two parts. The first part will explain why Japanese people look alike, and the second part will explain why Japanese people do not look alike. Don't be surprised, you will understand everything. In truth, if I showed you a picture of a Japanese person among pictures of other people from different nationalities, you would likely be able to identify the Japanese person easily. This indicates that Japanese people indeed look alike, and there are common features among them. If you are wondering why this similarity exists, let's summarize it in several points. All East Asian peoples, whether Japan, China, Korea, or others, belong to the same origin and lineage, which is the original Mongol lineage. The original Mongol people had a distinctive appearance created by God since their existence, and they continued to marry among themselves for many centuries without mixing with any other people, managing to keep their lineage pure from the beginning until today. This distinctive appearance includes slanted narrow eyes, straight hair, and a small nose. One study explained that the reason for these features is that these people initially were tribes living in the Arctic, and God created them with this beautiful appearance to adapt to the extreme cold, winds, and snow. The narrow nose reduces the exposure of the lungs to cold air, helping them maintain their body temperature. Additionally, one of the reasons for the strong resemblance among these people is their shared diet, which relies heavily on fish and seafood. Imagine that one study suggests that the spread of American food or fast food has led to changes in the appearance of the current generations. From the study's perspective, it caused a change in the appearance and features of the entire generation. You can easily notice this if there is a Japanese person living in America and another Japanese person living in Japan. Since childhood, you will feel that the features of the one who lived in America are not as distinctive as the one who lived all his life in Japan. The main reason is that he eats different foods and lives in different environments. So Japanese people in America are different from Japanese people in Japan, and this is something tangible and can be easily noticed in most Hollywood movies. So in the end, if you ask why Japanese people look alike, the answer is simply that they have managed to maintain their lineage for many centuries, in addition to sharing the same diet they have followed for hundreds of years, and also sharing the same environmental and climatic conditions. Returning to the second part of the topic, which is why Japanese people do not look alike, before you get surprised, let me ask you a simple question. Do you think British people look alike or not? In other words, is there a degree of similarity among the British as there is among the Japanese? Before you rush to answer, let me tell you that the answer is yes. There is indeed a great similarity among them in appearance, just as there is among the Japanese. The truth is, this matter is not specific to the British or the Japanese, but it is a fixed rule for all peoples and races of the world. Just as Japan, China, and Korea belong to the original Mongol lineage, Americans, Europeans, and North Africans also have some similarity and belong to one lineage, which is the Caucasian. Similarly, the peoples of South Africa and Guinea share common features and belong to one lineage. There is a famous story that happened in the United States in September 2015. The story was that someone got hold of another person's shopping card and was able to use it illegally. But over time, the police managed to catch and arrest this criminal. The strange thing is that at the time of his arrest, he stood still and did not move, but was surprised by what was happening. After he was imprisoned and during his interrogation at the police station, he tried to convey to them that he was innocent and did not do anything. Astonishingly, after the procedures and investigations, they discovered that they had indeed arrested the wrong person due to the great similarity in appearance between him and the criminal they were looking for. The truth is that the police are not the only ones who go through this situation, but we all face a similar situation almost daily on television, at airports, or in tourist areas when we see a group of yellow-skinned people, for example. We feel that they look alike and immediately say they are Japanese, although they may be Chinese, Korean, or even from Indonesia. But aside from that, let's ask a question: do these people really look alike or not? A group of researchers in the United States tried to explain this topic and came to a conclusion they called the cross-race effect, which means there is a cognitive phenomenon that makes it difficult for people of a certain race to recognize individuals from another race or different ethnicity. For example, if there is a group of people who have not been sufficiently exposed to different races and have not mixed with them enough, they will feel that these groups all look alike, although they are not. To understand the topic, let me tell you a story. If we assume that Jack and Mary had twin daughters, these two daughters are identical to each other. Over time, the parents can distinguish between the twin daughters and can easily tell them apart. The reason for this is their long-term interaction with the daughters, allowing them to notice the differences between them and see things that we, as ordinary people, cannot see or distinguish. If Rock, for example, visited Jack and started calling the twin daughters to come and greet him, it would be impossible for Rock to distinguish between them or notice any differences, although from the parents' perspective, there are many noticeable differences. But only those who have lived with them for a long time and interacted with them in many situations can distinguish them. And this is the idea in a nutshell. Similarly, when we talk about the Japanese, they indeed have common features. And if you walk among them, you will feel that they all look the same. But when you live with them more, walk with them more, talk to them, and interact with them more, you will see that they are very different from each other. Let's do a simple experiment. We will show pictures of 3 people and try to guess. Are the people in the pictures Chinese or Japanese? Were you able to identify whether the 3 people were Chinese or Japanese, or are you still confused? In truth, dear viewer, the 3 pictures shown were neither Japanese nor Chinese. The 3 people were Korean. But when we see anyone with narrow eyes, a flat nose, and smooth, shiny hair, we immediately say they are Japanese. Most Asians seem to have a great resemblance to each other, whether they are from Kazakhstan, Thailand, Indonesia, the Philippines, Uzbekistan, Vietnam, or even Malaysia, although each country has completely different features and characteristics from the other. Each people can easily distinguish other peoples. For example, if a Japanese person sees a Korean person, he can immediately identify that he is Korean. But if we see a Korean, Chinese, Vietnamese, Malaysian, or anything else, we will also say he is Japanese. The strangest truth I can tell you is that although we say that Japanese people look alike, the strange thing is that they also see us as looking alike, as another race they have not been exposed to much, or have been exposed to a little in tourist areas, for example. Let me tell you that a group of doctors from the University of Glasgow in Britain adopted this phenomenon and conducted an experiment on it. They brought a group of people. The first group was from East Asia, Japanese, Chinese, and others, and the second group was from outside East Asia, such as Arabs and Europeans. They started showing each group some pictures, and these pictures contained people from the same race and others from a different race. They attached devices to the brain of each individual in both groups to measure brain activity when exposed to each picture. What happened was very strange. Both groups confirmed to the scientists the existence of the phenomenon we talked about, which is the cross-race effect, both groups took a long time to recognize the other race and different ethnicity, and the brain exerted a great effort and took a long time. But what do these results indicate? They indicate that Europeans see Chinese people as looking alike, and Chinese people see Europeans as looking alike. This is because each race has not mixed significantly with the other. This means that Japanese people indeed look alike, but they are not alone. South Africans also look alike, Arabs look alike, and Europeans also look alike. This similarity is greatly increased for someone who is unfamiliar with them and has not interacted with them for a sufficient period. Finally, not every person with narrow eyes and smooth hair is Japanese. And with that, we have answered today's question, why do Japanese people look alike? For those who are new to the channel, this channel answers the questions that puzzle you and come to your mind.